Almighty, blessed be your holy name. You are worthy of our praise. All glory to your name. Blessed be your holy name. You are worthy of our praise. Elohim, we thank you. We magnify your name, for you are so excellent and so wonderful and so marvelous, for making us dynamic, declaring us yourself in character and in learning, in power and in energy, for making your environment to be our environment. And there is nothing that can separate us from you. That's our joy. And we thank you for the second day of this program, a dynamic new creature. Thank you for teaching us today. Thank you for revealing your identity also to us. Blessed be your holy name. Shout it, I believe.
I believe.
For the second time.
I believe.
Take your wonderful seats. A dynamic new creature. A dynamic new creature. In the one we saw the revelations that came out from that teaching. What's when something is dynamic? we realize that that thing is very powerful and very energetic. And we also realize that that is our seal and our guarantee. And today, we are going to increase that previous knowledge to something that is higher. And we also realize that we have new creatures and we have a dynamic new creature. Your new creation realities will not really be real until you are what? Dynamic. And we also discovered that the reason our environment is dynamic is because it changes. It's not static. When something is dynamic, that thing is what? It's not static. It moves. So meaning, my dynamic nature is my active nature. Which means my active nature is my power. My power is my energy. And that my energy is my seal and guarantee. My seal and guarantee is his seal. And what? His guarantee. Expansion of this revelation is what we are going to be looking at. And the next thing you add there, his seal and his guarantee is my environment. Did you get what I'm saying? My dynamic nature is my active nature. My active nature is my power. My power is my energy. My energy is my seal and my what? Guarantee. This my seal and my guarantee is not mine, but his seal and his what? Guarantee. And this his seal and his what? Guarantee is my what? Environment. Which means a new creature who is dynamic has an active environment. Not a static environment. But what? An active what? Environment. What does that mean? If this now is true, it then implies that your power is your what? Environment. Your energy is your what? Environment. Your active nature is your what? Environment. Meaning that your life cannot be different from your energy. Do you know that? And your energy cannot be different from your what? Power. When somebody is very powerful or very energetic, it means that his environment is what? Very powerful. And what? Energy. That's why if your spirit is in a static state or passive state, your power and energy will be what? It's passive and static. Do you understand what I'm saying? So meaning, a man's environment is a man's life and existence. Say it. Say a man's environment. Put it as notes. You know what it means? A man's environment is a man's life and what? Existence. Which means your life and existence is not different from your what? Environment. For a man's life is a product of his life and what? Existence. Your life is a product of your environment. For the environment of every man will determine how the life of that man will be and how the man will do what? Exist. Which means, if you are good now, like we learned in day one, your environment is what? Good. And if you are bad now, your environment is what? Bad. For the body of a man is a reflection of man's life and what? Existence. What I see on you now is the exact place you are what? Living. Do you follow what I'm saying? If you are in an environment that quarreling is a usual thing, you will be a quarrelsome person. Do you know that? And then if you are living in a family that everyone is peaceful, you will also be a very peaceful person. True or false? Good. So meaning, my dynamic nature, which is now dynamic nature. Look at that. My dynamic nature is what? His dynamic what? Nature. Say my dynamic nature is what? His dynamic what? His dynamic nature. Meaning my dynamic energy is his dynamic what? Energy. My dynamic power is his what? Dynamic power. So which means the energy of Yahweh and the power of Yahweh is the exact one we have now as a dynamic new creature. Which means a dynamic new creature has the exact energy and power of who? Yahweh. That is a dynamic new creature. So meaning my dynamic seal, my dynamic nature is his dynamic. My dynamic what? Nature is his what? Dynamic seal. And what? Guarantee. My dynamic nature is his dynamic seal. And what? Guarantee. That's why a man who is dynamic in nature is above any other power and what? Authority. You get that? And now, let's look at a scripture we know very well. All these things I explain now for the past few minutes is the reason Yeshua received us into himself. You see, all these things I mentioned now, the dynamic seal and guarantee, the dynamic nature and energy and power is where? It's inside Yeshua. It's inside where? The dynamic seal. The dynamic seal and what? Guarantee, which is his energy and what? Power and what? Nature is where? Is inside. Who? Yeshua, the what? That's why the moment Yeshua arose from death, the moment he arose from what? Death, the first thing he did was to receive all men into that environment. That's the first thing he did. Do you know why he did that? I think we know it now. Why did he do that? Who will respond? Why did he do that?
Praise you.
Hallelujah.
So that you will be in the same environment with him.
So that you will be what?
You will be in the same
in the same environment with him. Absolutely. Koreyaka. Well, every other person stand up. You sit down. You sit down. Others stand up. Stand on your feet. The reason he received us into himself is so that we will be able to do what? To be in that environment he created us to live in. If you remember, first of all, he did not receive every other creation. It was man that he did what? He received. Why did he keep us in that place? He kept us in that place. You know, last time I told us something. When you are in a certain environment, you will begin to do what? Grow. You will do what? You will grow. Which means, in that environment, you find yourself now. Like as an African man, it's because you were born in the environment called Africa. Because you were born in that environment called Africa, you begin to eat the food of African food and diet. True of us. All this white man food you are eating now, you later learned it. It was added. Watch. That same family you are, you will begin to eat whatever they do what? They eat. True of us. Just because you were born there. If there any type of food they like eating, you will join them and be what? Eating it. You drink the type of water they are what? Drinking. True of us. Everything they do there, you follow them and do what? Do it. Do you know that's why Yeshua received us into himself so that we will grow in him? So that we will grow in his energy. So that we will grow in his power. So that we will grow in his seed. So that we will grow in his guarantee. Which means, if the reason he received us into himself is so that we will eat and what? Drink and what? Grow inside again him. We are not permitted to eat any other food outside what grows in him. There is no food available for a dynamic new creature outside the food that is where? In Yeshua. In him is our food. What we are expected to eat from. Now, do you know that when you are eating food or drinking water outside your environment, you will fall sick? Do you know that? And you can develop cancer. Do you know that? Do you know, as a black man, if you are eating more of white man's food, when I'm talking of white man's food, Europeans' food and diets, you have up to 80% chance of developing cancer. Do you know that? You have up to 80% chance of being sick. But if you are eating only food that grows in your environment, I have taught this in one of our teachings on dieting. How many of us remember that a man is meant to eat only food that grows in his what? Environment. Any food that doesn't grow from your environment can bring you sickness or cause cancer. Scientifically proven. So even if you don't learn anything, you can learn this one now as additional health talk. If you concentrate in eating food grown in your environment, it will be hard, you will be fall sick. Your chance of developing cancer will be drastically what? Reduced. But if you are eating food imported from another environment that cannot even grow within your own locality, you will be falling sick. Your immune system will grow down. This is science now, and it's real. I myself, I don't eat anything that doesn't grow in my environment. The moment I learned it. Now, who can apply it to what I just said? Now, what is the application to what we are teaching now? That Yeshua received us into himself so that we can do what? Grow. After we have eat and what? Drink in him. So what is the application of that? Quickly. Who is answering? You raise your hand up. Give him mic. Yes. What is the application of that?
The application of that is that the only food that we eat inside this environment is the word.
It's word, yes.
And the way it was through knowledge, by teaching.
Yes.
And when we eat of the word, we grow inside the kingdom. And we also made powerful and established inside the kingdom.
Absolutely. Put your hands together for him. He says, a dynamic new creature eats only food that do what? Grow in his environment. And he said that food that he eats, only his environment, is the word of Yahweh. You may be seated. He has rescued you. That is the only food that you can eat. Which means when somebody say, I'm a new creature, and he is not dynamic by eating the word, what will happen to him? What will happen to him? Use mic. I want us to get the foundation before we can move on. Yes, give her a mic to answer. Yes, what will happen?
Cancer.
He will develop cancer, number one. Number two, he will do what? He will die. Number two. Number three, he will have malnutrition, retarded growth. That's, he will become a dwarf. Yeah, one. I was telling somebody today, did you bet? He said yes. Have you eaten? He said yes. Where did you read in the Bible today? He said no place. Say you are dead. In one. But that's truth. Oga go outside to go and eat. He will develop cancer. He will fall sick. Oga wear dwarf. Wansh. Say my hair wansh. Okay, Buru Bible. Wansh. Wansh. That's why religious men are wansh. White man, I'm sorry you don't know what is wansh. Wansh is retarded growth. Retarded growth. As I am now, I'm 3 years old, but look at how big I am because I eat too much. But this person will eat more than me. And 3 years, he's still crawling on the floor. That is wansh. But you see me now, 3 years and I'm big like this, which means the food I'm eating is showing. Is it not true? 3 years plus old in this size. That is a good growth. One child. And he can preach. You see a very wonderful growth. Did you catch up what I'm saying? But when you are, you know, it sounds like a laughing matter. Do you know that is the difference between a dynamic new creature and a religious man? Somebody carry Bible. But he is eating food that grows outside his environment. And because he is eating food that grows outside his environment, what happens to the person? Take your wonderful seat. What happens to the person? He will be retarded in growth because he refused the food that he was created to eat. And he began to go and eat food that grows in another environment. Maybe because it's very sweet. Maybe because it's very attractive. Maybe because it is very well packaged. Maybe it was given a wonderful name. And a lot of fake adverts added to it. Are you hearing me? He abandoned his food. That is what religion cost man. That is what religion put man inside. Religion made man to make that position. Yahweh kept us at birth and we disregarded it. And now begin to use our money to buy food that grows outside. You know, today we are preaching agriculture. Have you seen it? And let me tell you, if you are here, you are used to eat imported food. Very soon you will die. Very soon you will do what? Die of diseases and sickness. I'm not joking, oh. This one is not my portion. Not your portion now is that you have to do away with imported food. If you watch, a white man doesn't eat African dishes. True or false? They eat their own. But a black man will leave his own and he's eating a white man's own. To a white man, the DNA accepts it because that's where he was born. To a black man, your own is different. Instead of you to concentrate on your own, and that is what religion have cost. We have seen, and that's the era of colonial master. That's why somebody will be Onyenibe. Yatufu Onyenibe, Zawa Simeon. Tufuochi debere, Zawa Michael. Tufuochi nenye, Zawa Cynthia. Are you hearing me? Tufuochi saw Clementina. Or Tufuemeka, Zawa John Bosco. Zawa John Bull. Are you hearing me? He looks so funny, I think. But he looks so funny. That is somebody eating, drinking, and growing outside his what? Environment. And we have seen it. It will bring cancer. That's why somebody will say, I am blessing, but he's poor. No evidence of blessing around him. He's now a stranger. A new creature. Let me give you an example how somebody can grow outside his environment. I want us to internalize who is a dynamic new creature. Do you know that when somebody say, I am a sinner, outside his environment, do you understand what I'm saying? When somebody says, I was attacked by demons, do you know that that person has gone outside and eat food that is not meant for his what? Environment. Had it been you remain in your environment that is the most powerful and energetic, you wouldn't have exposed yourself to getting attack and sin. You wouldn't have exposed yourself to darkness. So meaning, as a preacher, when a preacher is preaching sin to you, that a preacher, number one, himself is eating outside the environment. Number two, he wants you to buy the imported food and eat where Yeshua kept you. Now, somebody, let's look at John 12 verse 32 we are talking about. Somebody who is, as we are here now, new creation family and as we are here. This place is in our environment, true of us. Can you see your yard now? You can only see your yard now by imagination of mind. True of us. Because of the old knowledge you have known where your house is. True of us. But I want you to see your house now. See it. Can you see it? Eh? Tell me how you hear. Stand up. Let's stand. Near Mike. What is happening in your yard now? Tell us.
I don't know.
I thought we were joking. I thought, because he may have another technology, which I would have liked to take now. Eh? Yeah, Mike, yes? Physically, yes.
Environment is quite different from my environment by
yes.
imagination.
Yes.
For example, you see how this place
yes.
is There is lights. Area is very sweet. In my environment, might be different. Might not be the same.
So which means there's no way you will see your environment here now.
Yes.
Because in your environment, the type of light there may not be this type.
Yes.
The type of painting may not be this.
And if I continue staying in this environment for a long time,
yes,
automatically my mentality, my imagination of my old environment
will wipe out.
change.
Absolutely. You understand the expression? Put your hands together. That's why I like philosophers. Do you know that's what new creation has done in our life? That's why when I told us, any preacher, you know why I'm talking preachers? Before I used to call them colleagues. They are not my colleague. Oh. Because if you are preaching law, sins, and death, we are working in two different companies. Do you know that? A colleague is somebody who is working in the same company. True or false? Now, if somebody is preaching law, sins, and death, do you know that he is living in that place? You cannot describe a place you have not been inside. Somebody that have not been here in new creation cannot tell you how this place is. True or false? For you to explain here now, you must have been here either once or twice. Even once you come, you can't say everything. True or false? Why? A man who is living in an environment Yeshua has created for him can never see anything that is outside the environment. A dynamic new creature cannot see sin. He cannot see law. He cannot see death. He cannot see darkness. He cannot see failure. He can never see sickness. Because number one, in Yeshua, where our energy is, in fact, it's our nativity, is where we are growing. Such things cannot grow there. True or false? True or false? So how can you eat such thing? When you are in Yeshua, where our dynamic seal and guarantee is located, where his power and energy is present, and you begin to eat food or import food, because remember, all men are where? Are in Yeshua. True or false? Now when you are there, will anybody force you what to eat or not? It's as we are here now. There are people that eat anyhow. True or false? Did anybody force them to eat anyhow? They eat anyhow because one, they can afford it. And they felt that they have money to buy anything they like. And do what? And they begin to buy. Even when you want to give the person advice to reduce it, yes. Is it your money? Are you the one to tell me how I will eat my money? But it's true. When you are in Yeshua and you are communicating with sin, law, and death, you are not a dynamic new creature. A dynamic new creature can never accept any of these things. In fact, what happens in darkness, he can never take it. He will never accept it, no matter how real it is. When you are in Yeshua, and you can wake up in the morning, you can read the scripture, you can do morning devotion, very soon you will die. Very soon you will become malnourished or dwarf once. Physically, it will get to go, but in more once. Do you follow? Why? You have gone outside your environment and do what? Eat. Any time for a program like this now, instead of you to come in the environment you're supposed to be at all costs, you abandon program, gawa, buying and selling. Very soon you will become dwarf. Once. Not that you even miss program and buy plates to go and listen, or demand for note and copy and go and read. He said, we'll program on one shit very soon. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's why a new creature who is dynamic can never lose consciousness of his what? Environment. Remember what we learned in day one. Your environment controls your body, whether you like it or not. True or false? It's a must. If you are in a heat environment, a hot environment, sweat will begin to come out. Or sweat from the body. No, go back now. I command you by fire. Go back now. Oh, you command sweating to go back by fire. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is religion for you. Or when the environment is very cold, you begin to look for sweater to do what? And maybe no. I command you coldness out by fire. Instead of you to go and look for sweater and cover up. Then, no. This cold you cannot. For you to move away from the cold, you get seen in that environment. That is how spirituality is all about. As simple as ABCD. That's why when you begin to miss activity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 5, you will go down. True of us. In fact, you will begin to be empty. Suddenly, all men are around before. In our home, we handed the give it a. What happened to you? You have gone out from your environment and begin to do what? Eat. You may import foreign food and you'll be eating. How can a man who has seen enough food in his environment will abandon it and go and begin to eat another food? Is it possible? Or the possible? Are you a dynamic new creature? Ask your brother, are you a dynamic new creature? Or an ordinary new creature? Do you know why it's like that? Say, I'm above spiritual cancer. John Ebog, are you suffering from spiritual cancer? Do you know what it's called? Cancelitis. Cancer again. Are you suffering from cancelitis? Eh? Write it. Do you know? So that on day 3, those that didn't come will miss. You know, when you begin to eat foreign food, you will be cancelized. You are not understand. And the moment you are cancelized, you will begin to suffer from cancelitis. And this cancelitis, the only thing that can cure it is what? Cancillotab. 500 mg. Are you hearing me? And you have to be taking it 1 times 3 daily. That is what you use. And all of this cancillotab can be very. That is the essence of the program. We want to cure you cancelitis. Are you hearing me? Yes. But if you are missing activity, you are suffering from cancelitis. When you call those people that are not here, tell them, it's like you are suffering from cancelitis. Also, what is this one? This will come and ask, meet the apostle for treatment. And you have to bring your fat envelope. Why coming? Because the drug is very expensive. Very what? Do you understand what I'm saying? What are we talking about? What I wrote here is in the Bible, Romans chapter 3. Why is like that? Any day, listen, if you are here, you have been eating imported food. Stop it. Touch your brother. Say, stop it. Chọ mmanụ were ya suruji with otasi and eat. White man doesn't know this one. We are describing, look for smoothie, and be drinking. Are you hearing me? You begin to smoothize. Are you hearing me? Not to be buying all classes of foreign. Yana ato. Yana ato na ebu. Aneti yana akuba yanani. Somebody brought in tomato yana irinonia. That is imported food. Very soon, you moot. You comoy. Do you know what is comoy? You die. You moot. And they will be shouting, evil attack. It's not evil uncle. You have eaten outside your environment. I'm talking to our women here. Stop cooking artificial food for your husband. Very soon he will comoy. He will kick the bucket. Miriam Kwafu. Do you understand? If you don't want him to kick the bucket, stop giving him artificial food. Instead of you to look for cocoyam that is in Yeshua, look for yam, rice, akpo, gare. Are you hearing me? Smoothie, okwa, ado. Are you hearing me? Somama hewa ado. Are you hearing me? And be eating inside Yeshua. Giga cho indomie, cho biscuit, cho mineral, cho. Does mineral grow in your environment? Does it grow in your environment? Instead of you to take water in your environment and drink, and you'll be taking it. As it is applicable physically, that's how it is spiritually. Don't live your life outside the word. Is somebody hearing me? Don't allow anything. A dynamic new creature. Instead, he will not study his Bible. He will not bet. He will not eat. He can't cook. But all these religious people, they can only remember it. Even coming to activity, they see it as something that is not important. Romans chapter 3, verse 30. For a new creature has one environment. Say a dynamic new creature has one environment. Only but one, not two. Our environment is not two. It's what? One. And where is the one environment? In Yeshua. Yeshua is Yahweh. And Yahweh is the Holy Spirit. Only in him. That's why in Romans chapter 3, verse 30, that place says, since there is one Yahweh, one Yahweh, one Yahweh, which means a dynamic new creature has one energy. He has one power. He has one environment. And he has one nature. Have you written that one? A dynamic new creature has one Yahweh, one Yeshua, one Holy Spirit, one power, one energy, and one nature. A new creature is not hot and cold. A new creature is hot. A new creature who is dynamic is not black and white. A new creature who is dynamic is what? White. When you see him, you don't need to ask him, are you wearing white? You will see it. That is a dynamic new creature. He said, we have one Yahweh, who will justify the circumcised by faith and the uncircumcised through what? Faith. Through what? Faith. A dynamic new creature who is in his environment is justified or declared righteous by the faith of who? Yeshua. That's why a dynamic new creature You know, when I call a dynamic new creature, now you know whom he is. Who is a dynamic new creature? He's a man who lives in Yeshua. He's only getting environment. Means a dynamic new creature is declared righteous or justified by getting the faith of who? Yeshua. Meaning that as long as you are in your natural environment, you know what I'm talking about now? You are getting righteous. As long as you are not buying imported food, you are getting righteous. What are the imported food? Name them. I need us to, so that when I'm talking about imported food now, some people will not be going to come material. What? Mention the imported food. Yes, quickly. The ushers and the ushers.
English apple.
No, I'm talking of spiritual imported food.
Okay. Law, sis, and death, which is going out from the knowledge of
you. You are not direct to it. I need a direct answer.
You are a sinner.
You are a sinner. I am a sinner, not you. Say, I am. Say when one say he is a sinner. In fact, he's a better one, not say you. A saint like me.
I see that.
You understand? I see that. Yes, another person.
You are under attack.
You are under attack. Yes. When you see, you understand. That is any time you see darkness, you have imported food into your environment. Yes? Another one.
See your uncle fighting against you.
Yes, seeing evil uncle. Any moment you begin to see evil uncle, you have imported food into your environment. And if the lemon import to where? Yes?
Seeing bondage.
Huh?
Seeing someone in bondage.
Seeing somebody under bondage, under curse. You have imported food. Yes? Yes, downfall. Are you hearing me? Downfall. Order that. You may import food.
Abatozu.
Correct. Do you understand? No, stand up. If you are standing, sit. If you are seated, stand. When you stand, raise your two hands up. Very well. Do you see why it's like that? If you look at that, a dynamic new creature, as long as you are in that environment, you are declared righteous. Can you attack a righteous man? Can you destroy somebody who is a saint? Do you now understand? As long as you are within that environment called dynamic seal and guarantee, you are justified. And Romans chapter 3 verse 30 is saying, whether you do something or you didn't do anything, you are declared what? Righteous. No matter your action. Look at it. No matter your actions. That's what Romans chapter 3 verse 30 is saying. No matter your action, as long as you are inside the dynamic seal and guarantee, which is your only one nature of existence, he says you are righteous. This righteousness did not come because you are circumcised. Neither did it come because you are uncircumcised. This righteousness came to you because of the faith. The faith of who? Yeshua. Who can tell me why it's like that? Did you get my question? Who can tell me why it's like that? Because you see, when a religious man look at what I said next, oh no, okay now, since yes, I mean Yeshua, so I can do anyhow. Is it what the teaching is saying? So why is it like that? It does no longer depend on your action. Usher, yes? Answer, you take mic and give to this side. Or give Werezo for mic to the other side. Yes, quickly. Why is it like that?
Because you are righteous inside your environment.
Because in your environment you are righteous. Yes, you are righteous, but that's not the answer. Yes? Quickly.
Because we contributed nothing.
Yes, so why didn't you contribute? What happened that made it that you don't contribute anything? That's the answer I'm looking for.
That's the establishment of Yeshua himself.
You didn't put it correctly. Another person. Because
of the covenant.
He said because of what?
The covenant.
No. That's not the answer.
Because
yes,
Yeshua has paid the price.
And because he has paid the price, what happened?
He has set me free.
Yes. And because he has set you free, what happens? Is the answer I'm looking for.
I'm justified.
Yes, because you are justified.
And he has it makes me to come into.
You know the funniest thing, all of us know the answer, but nobody knows that is the answer. And that's why I intentionally tested
it is because
yes,
you are predestined to live in your environment so that you will not die outside your environment.
Why were you predestinated inside there? It's the same answer I'm looking for. But you know the funniest thing, all of us here know the answer. Yes?
Because man's action cannot justify him.
Why is man's action inside this environment cannot justify man? That is the answer I'm looking for. Why is man's action will never justify man? Because that's what Romans chapter 3 verse 30 is saying. Why is it like that? That's the answer I'm looking for. Yes, he has paid the price. And as he has paid the price, what happened? You know my
Die.
The ushers are not working at all. Yes?
This is because I have one power, one energy, and one environment.
And because you have one power, one energy in that environment, what does that mean? You almost get into the place. Almost all of you are getting to the place.
It is because I have one power, one environment, and one energy. Because Yahweh is now the one doing everything in me and through me.
Or 90%. That's no need. So that comes as here. Almost at least it's closer to it. Clap for her because it's closer to it. Do you know why? When we are saying, you are righteous not by your action, not by what you can do or not do. Do you know why it's like that? Inside this dynamic environment we are talking about, there is no other action that exists there outside the action of Yeshua? That is the answer. Did you understand? Inside this environment, when we talk about the faith of Yeshua, sit down. When you talk about the faith of Yeshua, we are talking about his actions. His what? Actions. And this his actions is called what? Grace. In the dynamic environment, there is no other action that is there. So that's why when you are in that environment, circumcision and uncircumcision is no more needed. So we are not talking to people who are importing food to eat. And when they import their food and eat, they will begin to tell you, you see, Apostle said that whether I'm circumcised, I'm not circumcised, I'm righteous. That's not what the scripture is saying. Is it very clear now? That's not what the scripture is saying. Let us assume that you are living in darkness. You are again living in darkness. A man who is living in darkness, is he in the environment? And he begins to quote Romans 3 verse 30. You see, it says, whether I circumcised or not circumcised, whether I come to fellowship, I don't come to fellowship, I am righteous. Have you seen error? Because in Yeshua, in this dynamic environment, fellowship is compulsory. Activity is compulsory. Morning devotion, compulsory. Prayer, compulsory. Fasting, compulsory. Holy communion. I'm not talking of religious one. No. You put no Holy communion I'm talking about. Because the Holy communion in this environment does not come to an end. Or 24/7. Fasting, 7 days, more 20 days, is forever and again. Prayer, that place, 7 days prayer. It is forever and what? That's why a dynamic new creature who is in this environment we are talking about, is always fasting. Fasting, praying, having holy communion. Is in every moment in fellowship. 24/7. Why is it like that? In this environment I'm talking about, fasting is a natural thing. It's a life. Praying is a life. Holy communion is a life. Baptism is a life. There is. One day I say, no, not that thing. That is a swimming exercise. Baptism is a life. It's not an event or ceremony. But when you begin to import food to eat, all these things will become an event. When you turn these things to be events, you have imported a white man food to eat as an African man. Or you have imported African food and eat as a white man. Do you understand what I'm saying? What are we saying? Inside this environment, why is like this? In this environment, there is one fasting. There is one prayer. There is one Holy Communion. There is one fellowship. And there is one baptism. A dynamic new creature does not have these things different. You do your own, I do my own. It is what? One. Inside this environment, I call a dynamic environment. There is no other fasting that is acceptable. That's why he said, whether you fast or you don't fast, the fasting is there. And that's what have changed you. Whether you have faith, you don't have faith. Such your faith is not existing in there. Talk of what? Making use of it. What exists in a dynamic environment, which is in Yeshua, is what? The faith of Yeshua. What is the faith of Yeshua? His death, his burial, and his what? Resurrection. And it's called what? Finished work. Because all these things now, it's what the death, burial, and resurrection of Yeshua do what? Brought. And they are called what? Finished work. Inside the dynamic environment, which is one, is the only place a dynamic new creature is existing. Your 21 days praying and fasting is not there. 100 days is not there. You are not doing, not there. What is there is what? The finished work. That's why it says, we have one Yahweh who justified the circumcised by faith and even the uncircumcised by any. Because in him, circumcision or uncircumcision does no longer do what? Matter. What matter is what? New creation. What is new creation? The only one environment of a dynamic new creature. The only what? One environment of a dynamic new creature. So a dynamic new creature does. Now the question is this. I love this one. Read verse 30 for me. Or I read by myself. Now look at verse 30. Romans 3, verse 30. Because I know somebody in your mind now is, a lot of this question there is going on in you. That place says, do we then make void the law through faith? Now, since it's like what I explained earlier. Since, yes, I believe I am in Yeshua. Yeshua has drawn me to himself. Anyway, since it's like that, it means now, all I'm getting. Listen, Otu does not exist in this place I'm teaching. The only thing on my Otu di Yeshua again, ma. Otu di Yeshua ma is the only thing that exists in this place. What is good to Yeshua is the only thing that exists where we are living. So any day you begin to do what is not good to Yeshua, you have like a man who is importing white man food to eat as an African man. What will happen? The person would begin to suffer from what? Cancelitis. Cancel. The person will be cancelized. That's correct. He will be what? Cancelized. And the moment you are cancelized, you will begin to suffer from cancelitis. And the only thing that will cure you is what? Cancellota 500 mg. Taking 1 times 3. Have you seen it? I think this one is very sweet. Do you follow? And that's Cancellota is what I'm giving us now. Even those watching on the internet. You see, in new creation, we have everything. Because we are in a new world. Do you see what that place is saying? He says, now, if it is like that, we then void the law. Which means law should be cancelled now. And if it is like that, you see, that's why a religious man hearing the teachings of new creation he will understand it. Anyway, do you know why he doesn't understand us? Because number one, when you are used to imported food, when I bring abacha with oba, betty dry fish, I didn't come nata. Are you hearing me? But you cut try over small. Are you hearing me? Yeah, where go. Or with ingo. Are you hearing me? With fresh aparanaka, mananaka aparanaka. Not the one in the English one. The one ejiaka. It's the type of thing I eat. I don't eat. That's why if you are in my environment, you must be natural. Say natural. For you to finish preparing this, it will take hours. Not to the white man one. You just bring it. When you give me such thing, I will do eye like this. Do you understand? Say I can't receive. Say I can't receive. Not my portion. And I mean not my portion now food. Not my. Are you hearing me? Not, do you know when I bring that, no, this is too local. Just give me Indomie with fried egg. That's what I like. Yes, this one is smiling because he like it. When you are eating more of those things, you will be cancelized. Are you hearing me? Now, the question is this. Since it's the faith of Yeshua that have done everything, and he has done it. Oparaduru, let me do as you like does not exist there. What exists there is what Yeshua has done, is doing, and shall do what? Do you know why it's like that? He said we don't cancel the law. Instead, we do what? Establish the law. We do not do what? Cancel the law. A dynamic new creature. A dynamic new creature. Say a dynamic new creature. Establishes the law. Say it convincingly. Say a dynamic new creature. A dynamic new creature does not cancel or void. Beginning. Instead, he do what? Established, uphold, affirm. Which other word? Affirm the what? Meaning that he fulfilled the law. But an ordinary new creature will do what? Will void the law. And use this environment we are talking about as a license of committing sin. Which means he will be in this environment and he will be importing foreign food. And be what? Eating. Thinking that he has sense. Or he is what? Too much. By his own wisdom. But what will disappoint him is that very soon he will be cancelized. And he will begin to run around. A dynamic new creature establishes the law. Now the question is this. Since we have nothing to do in this environment, how do we then establish the law? How do we establish the law? How do we affirm the law again? Since we are not to do what? To do anything. Three of us. How many of us is the question ringing in their mind? Since we have nothing to do. And now Romans chapter 3 verse 31 is saying we should establish the law. How? How do I do it without me doing anything? How possible is it? And it's what I want to show us now. And maybe we'll end this day too here. Watch. A dynamic new creature. Dynamic new what? Creature. Sees only the faith. The faith of who? I want to show you how he established it now. The faith of Yeshua will now establish the law. And now he will be declared again righteous. Until the law is established, you cannot be righteous. Now, let me show you a religious man or a man who is inside this environment and eating foreign food, which is a religious man. A religious man will see his what? His own faith or effort or works. He will want to what? Establish the law. Instead of him to establish the law, he will fail or break the law. Break the And because he has broken the law, what will happen? He will be declared a sinner or unrighteous. What is the difference between these two men? What is the difference between, you are sitting down, it's like you need lying down. What is the difference between these two people? We want to see how this thing is done now. Yes?
Friends, a religious man,
yes,
is relying on his own efforts.
Yes.
Why a dynamic man,
yes,
or a dynamic new
creature, yes,
is relying on Yahweh or Yeshua, the action of what Yahweh
has done. Yes, you are correct. Put your hands together for him. Yes, another person. The answer is on the board. He has answered one. He says, this dynamic new creature sees the faith of Yeshua. And I told us that the faith of Yeshua is called what? Grace. Did you write it in your notes? Grace is what? The faith of who? Yeshua. He sees faith. Human effort here. That is the difference. What is another difference on the board? Yes? I thought we will answer this thing too fast. But that's where I want us to end today. Day 3 will continue. Yes? What is the difference between these two men?
The dynamic new creature.
Yes.
Is declared righteous.
Yes.
Why a religious man always declares sin?
Unrighteous is the difference. Yes. From what he said, he said, righteous. It's also correct. It's another difference. Koreaka. But there is something I'm looking for directly when it comes to establishing the law. That's where my question now lies. How do a new creature, a dynamic new creature, what is the difference between these two people? Because this one here, a religious man, you see what you can do and not do your faith, your big faith. You know, it's because of this that made people do 9 virgin, do 39, sow seed. Are you hearing me? Do all classes of things, lie on altar. You see him put candle on, rub oil, rub water. You know, all of them are here. Do you know? For them to travel to village, they must do some effort and all that. All those things are part of the effort. But at the end, the other side will happen. And now I say it. A new creature establishing the law. What is the difference? How does a new creature establish the law here? And then why is this difficult for this other man there? That's the difference in relation to
a new creature. But believe the finished work, that Yeshua has done everything for us, while an unbeliever.
So how does he use that thing now to establish the law? That faith belief, yes, of the finished work, which is the faith of Yeshua now, is what the pastor answered earlier. He sees the faith of Yeshua, yes. He's seeing the finished work, because the faith of Yeshua is grace, which is the finished work. He sees it. He have answered it. Now, how do you establish this law here?
By relying on that finished work, having the knowledge of the finished work.
In between.
The new creature,
manifesting
the new creature is seeing himself in the same environment.
He sees himself in the same environment.
The same environment. Yeshua.
With Yeshua. Yes, that's why he was here now.
Why the unbeliever seeing himself outside
the environment. You tried. It's also not the answer. Yes?
A religious man is always under the law.
Yes.
By putting his own effort, what he can do or he cannot do. But a dynamic new creature lives above the law by depending on the faith of Yeshua the Father.
By depending on the faith, yes. And that will make him to do what? You've almost finished it. And that will be the answer if you have just finished it. It remains just a small line.
And that will make it to be justified. To live in, to make it to live in.
Yes, another person. I told us we are now philosophers, so you have to
Praise
be this.
Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
A new creature can establish the law.
Yes.
By not knowing anything wrong or evil. Because the law is full of do not, do not. But a new creature cannot speak, hear, or see any evil. So he establishes the law based on knowing only good.
Knowing only
and
good.
Doing good only.
And that knowing only good and doing good is the answer I'm looking for. Where it's called what now? It's what? From what is on the board?
It's called grace.
Declared righteous. Upholding the law.
Who will try again finally? Our time is up. Yes?
A new creature.
Yes. We are talking about establishing the law. Yes?
A new creature believes in the actions of Yeshua. And this one, a religious man, believes in his own action.
Almost here has when you're pastor finally. But you know the funniest thing? All of us here know the answer. It's like the previous one I asked. Everybody here knows the answer. And so simple. Yes?
New creation fulfills the law.
The law.
That is established.
The law, yes.
Based on his faith.
Yes.
And now, you the law.
And you've almost get the answer. In the moment, that place he fulfilled the law through the faith of Yeshua. What happens? That's the answer. That is the answer.
What happened that he not declared righteous?
Hey, I like, I want our brain to be very energized. Say energized. You want to give me the answer? This one, confusion and banana brain. I want us to, when we go home, we have to be rational thinkers. I want us, when you are teaching a religious man, because, where religious men have problem with new creation is this issue of law. Establishing law, this and that. They thought that you can establish law in this way, and it's not possible. That's why Romans chapter 3 verse 20 says, knowledge for law is what? Knowledge of what? Sin. Law can only make you to know sin. And when you know sin, you will do it. True of us. That's law. Now watch the answer. I've told us, if you watch now, this is the solution to this. If you watch, when you see this one, you won't see this. Because it is not my responsibility to establish the law. It is the responsibility of the faith of Yeshua to do the law. So if you want to be righteous, that's why the moment you see a dynamic new creature, what will be his environment is the faith of Yeshua. Inside this faith, we are kept. There is no law there. Now, the environment we are is what do the magic for us. And as long as you are here, you will do more than this one requires. And this, if you watch to a dynamic new creature, the faith of Yeshua is ahead of the law. Which means, before law comes, the faith has done it. So when law arrives, there is nothing for him to hold. That's why 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 9 says, law is for the unrighteous. Law is not for the righteous. The environment where we are is the faith of Yeshua. So any day you refuse to see what Yeshua has done, you will be a lawbreaker. And you will become unrighteous. So what the answer now means, the difference here is that a new creature does no longer see the law. He sees the faith of Yeshua. And when you see the faith of Yeshua, the faith which you have seen will now establish the law. For under the new covenant, it is not your responsibility to keep the law. What keeps the law is the faith of Yeshua in you. It's now what does the job. At the beginning, I told us about that in the environment we are, our actions are not getting there, but it's what? Action. That's why we don't have our action where they say you can do anyhow, because anyhow is not there. The only thing that is there is what Yeshua can do what? So for us now to establish the law is to remain within the environment of his faith. And inside the environment of his faith, the law is not there. Now, our environment will now do the work of fulfilling the law for us. We will only benefit the righteousness the faith will take us. Now, look at the board. So, if you see the faith of Yeshua, this faith, if you remain here, it will catapult you to this place. Did you get the miracle now? Maybe we'll leave it next time. We'll begin from there and teach it again. But what I'm saying now, in essence, is this. I don't know why it's so difficult. With the way I put it now, it's so simple. When you see the faith of Yeshua without seeing the law, the faith of Yeshua will be ahead in your life. And when the faith of Yeshua is ahead in your life, you cannot break any law. When you look at yourself, you will see that which the faith has done. And how it happened in your life, you will not know. Somebody will say, you have changed. You say, how? You are no more the way you used to be. While before, you have been trying to be good. But to be good refused to come. That's why the scripture says, by the arms of flesh shall no man be what? Do you follow? No man can be justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yeshua. Have you seen how powerful our Yahweh is? How glorious it is not to import foreign food to eat as a dynamic new creature. Ask your brother, are you still eating imported food? Importing food into your natural environment. In a foreign food. In a your natural food. Is your diet natural? Or is your diet full of artificial? Do you understand? All glory to your name. Almighty, blessed be your holy name. You worship you. All glory to your name. Almighty, blessed be your holy name. Can you not appreciate him? What his faith has done in our life. All glory to your name. Oh, blessed be your holy name. You are here to be praised. Idima, can you appreciate it? Look at what the saints have done for us. What we could not do for ourselves. Yes, did it for us. The faith of Yeshua did it for us. Today, we are righteous, perfect, qualified by his power. By his authority, in his law, Can you say, Father, I thank you for your love. I thank you for receiving me in your life. My life in you, nothing can remove me from it. I am in you forever and ever. My life is hidden in you. My environment is in you. And nothing can separate me. I can never have cancer. I have received victory over spiritual cancer. The reason I cannot be cancerized, I can suffer from canceritis. For I am eating in Yeshua, drinking in Yeshua, and rejoicing and sleeping in Him. That is our natural hope. Can you appreciate Him? What can be possible for us?
ebube.
Idimao, Yeshua Idima, Yahweh Idima, Idima. Elohim, we thank you for your environment has barred us from seeing the Lord. Today, we only see your faith. We only eat your faith. We drink your faith. And we grow right inside your faith. As a dynamic new creature, it's only what is in your faith we see. And the moment we see your faith will establish the law on our behalf. Thank you for fulfilling the law in my behalf and declaring me righteous. For before the Lord demands in my life, you have done much more. We say thank you. Blessed and glory, honor and power, Ancient of days, are all to your holy name. Shout it, I believe. For the second time and for the last time.
I believe.